Let's take a look now at how to set up the Woodmaster to gang rip. And what that means is I'm going to be able to run a board into the machine, and it's going to rip that board in certain widths, multiple pieces at a time, so that really saves me a lot of money. And also it's very, very safe because my hands are never going to get near the saw blade. And it's even easy on my lower back because when you're using a table saw, you're constantly feeding like this, and eventually that gets to your lower back. So if we've got a whole lot of ripping to do of certain sizes, like we're making a lot of molding, or even if we're getting ready to do a lot of closets, we'll set the machine up to gang rip. Another great thing about gang ripping on the Woodmaster, the least skilled guy on my crew can very safely do a lot of ripping in a short period of time. Let's take a look at how to set the machine up. Okay, first of all, I've removed the planer head and I'm going to put the shaft in. Now it's important to remember to have the locking collar down on this end. So I start the shaft in. Now I'm going to set these saw blades onto the shaft, and it's important to remember that they need to rotate this direction. So the points are going to be pointing away from the infeed direction. Now I could put up to 5 of these saw blades on here, but my board is not going to be cut into that many pieces, so I'm just going to put 3 on there. Now the first time that you set these saw blades up, it's a good idea to maybe leave these set screws a little bit loose, slide them on, and then tighten them up. Once the whole assembly is on the shaft, it's going to be perfectly aligned, but until you slide it onto the shaft, you might want to leave those set screws a little bit loose the very first time, and then slide on the shaft, and then you can come in and tighten it down real well. But again, after that first time, you should be good to go and you won't have to mess with it again. Okay, I'm going to slide the shaft through about 1.25 inches or so, and then come back to this side of the machine and go ahead and put the belts on, because I want to be able to see how everything lines up. And these belts need to be running straight up and down. Okay, so now I'm ready to use this saw to make some 4-inch rippings. I'm actually setting up at 4 1/8 because when I make molding, I always rip the boards about 1/8 inch wider than they need to be, and then I turn them up on edge and run them through the machine to get the rough saw curves off the edge, and then I'm only going to be profiling the face of the molding. We'll take a look at how to do that next after we've ripped the blanks up using this gang rip feature. All right, we've got the top back on the machine and we're plugged in. The next thing I'm going to do is turn the machine on and raise the bed up just enough to where I hear the knives hitting the poly board. Then we're going to feed this board through. Now all I need to do is just barely keep the straight edge pushed over against the edge of the poly board, and I'm going to get a couple pieces coming out the other end that are straight and probably faster than I can even begin to think about doing on a table saw, and I'll be getting 2 pieces at a time. What really makes that go fast is the fact that it's feeding it probably faster than I'd even be able to push into a table saw. And when you get into smaller pieces, you can rip 3, maybe even 4 pieces at one time, and my fingers never have to get close to the blades because they're housed in the saw. Okay, I've unplugged the machine, we've taken the top off, And now we're getting ready to pull these blades off and swap out to be ready to plane the edges of the strips that we ripped so that they'll be ready to make into molding. First thing I'm going to do is drop the bed a little bit, and I'll just come through, loosen all these set screws back up a little bit. Okay, I'll loosen this locking collar. Now, one of the things that I always remember, one of these is left-hand threads, the other one's right-hand threads, but if you always just turn it back the direction that the material feeds in, or turn it back the direction where the on-off switch is, you're always going to be going the right direction. So I'll just pop this one loose. There we go. Now I'll need to roll the belts off because I'm going to need to remove the shaft. I'll just drop those down there. And the shaft just slides out. I'll start sliding the blades on over to the end. Can pull all these little, pull all the keys out. There we go. And now I'll just pull the shaft on out.